Hi everybody, Neil with 21st Century Equipment. Today we are talking about a John Deere 2038R equipped with a 220R loader. We're going to talk a little bit about daily maintenance. Some of the questions that come up around daily maintenance is, what is it? What should I be looking at? And even when should I be doing it? Let's address the when first when it comes to greasing pivot points. Some people tell you grease every morning, some people say grease at the end of the day. I prefer to grease at the end of the day because as I'm working this piece of equipment, these pins will get a little bit warm, which is what I want. That grease is moving a little bit. It helps these units take grease, and so that's one thing I like. Is to do it at the end of the day. If we look at the sticker underneath the hood that has our schedule of maintenance on there, John Deere will tell you that in really wet conditions you should grease every day, and in dry conditions you can go longer between grease intervals. I like to tell people grease is cheap insurance. Grease this every time you use it, and again I like to do it at the end. So let's talk about the how. I've got a couple of grease guns here for you. The first is kind of the old school. You may already have one of these sitting on your workbench. It's great. They work great. Just make sure you've got the right kind of grease. You can check with your local 21st Century Equipment parts department to make sure you've got the right grease. And the other option, and it's coming more and more common, is an electric grease gun. And they've got a variety of these. This one happens to be a Milwaukee, but if you use Ryobi, DeWalt, you name it, odds are they've got a grease gun like this that you can use. I'm going to show you how to do that though here. So I'm going to just start with this one right up here on top. I always like to wipe the end of the grease zerk off as much as I can. I won't be able to get it all out of there, but that gives me a nice clean surface so that grease is going to go in there. I don't want to be pumping grit and grime in there if I can avoid it. Pull out my grease gun, and this one's got a nice long hose. Just snap it on there and then pull the trigger. And I can feel the grease gun twitching in my hand, so it tells me it's pumping the grease. I'm going to be looking up here to see any new grease get pushed out, and that'll tell me when I've put enough in there. There we go. Some grease is getting pushed out, so I've re-greased this joint. Where are they? Well, the next one, in this case, I did this one. Next one's going to be right down here. I've got two on this tower. There's two here on this pivot in the middle. And then down here at the pivot point and up on the top of that cylinder, or on this top cylinder, excuse me, on that top cylinder, there's a grease zerk. So there's 6 total on this loader. There's 6 on the other side of this loader as well. So a total of 12 total grease zerks on these loaders, mirror images of each other. Something you're going to want to look at with your daily maintenance on this side of the machine in these large frame 2Rs is going to be my fuel water separator, and that is just right in front of these brake pedals behind this cover. The good news is I can still see it easily, and I can just inspect quickly. Now this style has a drain valve on the bottom. As I look at it, if I were to see sediment or water sitting in the bottom of this separator, I'll just go ahead and turn the fuel to the off position, and then I open this valve and that'll drain that out, put it in a catch pan, and then dispose of it properly. I just want to make sure I'm always feeding clean, water-free fuel up to my engine. So that's one you want to look at every time you go to get on the machine, and then just turn it back on and start operating it like you normally do. As I mentioned on the other side, mirror image, 6 more grease zerks on this side. I've got my engine dipstick right here. Again, just something easy to pull out. Go ahead and pull that out, wipe it off, put it in, measure, see where the line is, and then as long as it's got oil, it's got the right amount of oil in it, put it back in. And then not so much daily maintenance, but worth pointing out, mentioned the fuel water separator on the other side. There's a high pressure fuel filter on this side as well that's part of the regular maintenance. Nothing to do with it on a daily basis though. And then kind of up next to the dipstick, you can see the back end of this oil filter here, and that oil filter, of course, again, not daily maintenance, but something you're going to do as part of your regular maintenance routine. Maintenance is really easy. John Deere's done everything they can to make it as easy as possible. I don't have to remove this loader to get to any of my regular maintenance points, daily or otherwise. When it comes to getting filters and oil, stop into your local 21st Century Equipment. We've got maintenance kits or individual filters and oil available to keep your tractor running. If, however, that's something you don't want to do, come on in and talk to our service department. We're happy to get your service scheduled, and we can take care of that for you in the shop. In addition, you can even prepay with a service plan so that you know your service is taken care of moving forward. Again, questions, come into your local 21st Century Equipment. We want to get you taken care of, keep your tractor running right so that you can do the work you do every day.